The recent state of play for Ghost of Yotei gave an incredible new look into the changes and improvements this highly anticipated sequel presents. While a lot of what was shown is the same features and gameplay we love from Ghost of Tsushima, there's a lot of new and notable additions coming with Yōtei. The deep dive covered a lot of what to expect, but there's a good bit of extremely exciting improvements for this new samurai adventure. These are the biggest takeaways from the showcase that I found to be important. Unlike Tsushima, Yōtei is changing the narrative to revolve around revenge at any cost. The internal struggle of fighting honorably and like a true samurai is exchanged for a personal journey where Atsu will take any means necessary to find and defeat the Yōtei Six. In Tsushima, the story of Jin's dishonorable killings created the conflict between himself and his uncle, and solely revolved around the idea of what honor is. This time, the narrative is shifting from honor to revenge, but the premise of terrifying assassinations and instilling deep fear into your enemies is what makes the legends of the ghosts. So in Yōtei, Atsu becomes a ghost known as the Onryo, a vengeful spirit continuing the idea that was established in the first game with Jin. Flashbacks were an integral part of Tsushima to show Jin's journey. In Yōtei, this is a returning narrative beat, but the gameplay around it has greatly changed. Instead of dedicated moments where we look into Atsu's past, it seems as though we will have the capability to look into her past at any given moment in any given area with the press of one button. A lot of Yōtei's gameplay revolves around player exploration and seeking out points of interest instead of checking off a list. This seems to imply that unique areas or structures may lead to points that show more of Atsu's past. This immersive storytelling is further deepened by the new card clue system. This is where the direction of the game and the player freedom is really expanded upon. Much like in Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, you have an interrogation feature that allows Atsu to discover new adventures. This means that more of the game naturally presents itself to you as you play more. This seemingly creates a more lived-in world that doesn't break your immersion by going into a menu to look at a giant list or quest log. Points of interest were a big part of the exploration in Tsushima, and that is amplified in Yōtei. The game seems to revolve more directly on you finding points of interest on your own as you explore. The developers stated that the game isn't going to rush you, and it's more about doing things you find exciting than checking off a list. This idea should create a game that creates a deep sense of immersion and connection to the world. Combat has evolved in Yōtei as well. Where the first game revolved around different sword stances, those have been repurposed now as new weapons. It seems like the core gameplay mechanics around this are the same, with different enemy types being more vulnerable to the different weapons. But there's more variety this time around with the new gameplay gimmicks and combat options. One thing that I found really interesting is that the enemies also have the ability to change weapon types as well. This is going to make for more engaging combat and possibly more difficult enemy encounters. This could be a mechanic that is primarily used for boss-like enemies instead of the rank and file that you'll no doubt be fighting more frequently. Yōtei is introducing a new camping mechanic that allows Atsu to cook and play her shamisen, and most notably bring NPCs and merchants to the player. This is designed so that you don't have to travel outside of the area you're currently in to upgrade or purchase new abilities. These NPCs that visit become a part of what is called the Wolf Pack. These are characters that are close and important to Atsu and her journey. The Wolf Pack is taking the place of the journal menu seen in Ghost of Tsushima, meaning that there should be a bigger focus on the characters that you interact with, and possibly that they'll have more importance and meaning to the story. A huge improvement for Yōtei is that there's a fully synced Japanese dub. In Tsushima, this was one of the more common complaints that I saw. For players playing the Japanese dub, the sync was really off and hard to ignore. This is remedied for Yōtei and will make the Japanese version a lot more authentic. We also have the return of the highly acclaimed Kurosawa mode, giving the player the feel of a classic samurai film. But additionally, there's two new modes inspired by highly influential directors. Mike mode is meant to be more combat focused by pulling the camera in tighter and using more of the mud and blood that give the combat its gritty appearance. And lastly, there's new lo-fi beats to chill and get revenge to. This is a mode that is inspired by the director of Samurai Champloo and also features music directed by Watanabe himself. Personally, I never messed around with Kurosawa mode too much because I didn't want to rob this beautiful game of its color. But I love that we now have more modes to alter the cinematic nature of the game. More options for more unique experiences. Ghost of Yotei is shaping up to be one of the biggest releases this year, and this new gameplay did nothing but make me more excited. Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of all time, and I have no doubt that Yōtei will follow in its excellency. Only a few more months until we get to experience another banger game. But you guys tell me, how excited for Ghost of Yotei are you? I'd love to cover this game some more, so if there's something you'd like to see more content on, please let me know in the comments. That's of course going to bring us to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, I truly do appreciate it. Thank you to channel members for your continued support, and if you'd like to become a channel member for $1 a month, please consider supporting the channel. If not, that's perfectly okay. You can support the channel by subscribing for more action-adventure game content. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.